Well, good evening. It's Friday the 30th of August, a couple of days before the National at Wisley. I tried doing a bit of a live broadcast before, but as people that saw it might have gathered, it's rather windy up here tonight. So this year we've had like 3 torrential downpours. We've had temperatures up to 28 degrees last week, another torrential downpour on Tuesday night, and then winds. So it's been an interesting season, lots of challenges. So just a quick walk round where we're at the minute. Grown a few dahlias in this polytunnel this year, which had previously been a tunnel that we used for container plants, shrubs and perennials, a few bedding hanging baskets growing on. We resited it very slightly, reset it up with side vents which are still to actually go on. And I thought this year we'd try a few dahlias and a few chrysanthemums as well. So the chrysanthemums are looking pretty good there. Some bronze Max Riley and some Max Riley a bit further on. Nicest plants we've seen of those for a while. There'll be a good crop of flower. It shows how much advantage protection gives you up here. And then as for the dahlias, we've got Clearview Cameron, which is a medium cactus. A medium semi-cactus from the USA, which was won the People's Choice Award at the National Dahlia Society Golden Acre Trials at Leeds last year. Beautiful bicolour, really interesting, good strong plants, good strong flowers. As we walk along, we've got the yellow giant deck coming through. Tried a few Aggie White in here. Never got these thinned down as much as I should have done. If I remember rightly, there's 14 plants here, and they're probably about at least 4 up, maybe 5 up. And the same with some Brinterfell there as well. So they're all standing around about 4, going on 4.5 foot high now. Some Hamari Girl that we tried to bring back, just haven't had a chance to get those sorted out. And then this next one coming up is Asquith Josephine. I wished I'd trimmed this down to just maybe 5 up, but to be honest, we don't have time to play around with every variety in the same way as you guys do. So we basically plant and stop at 3 pairs or 4 pairs. I wished I'd done this sort of like at 3. I think it might have been done at 4. So the flowers, although very neat and very full, going right the way back, as you can see, are on the small side for a medium, but very nice, slightly creamy white. This has come on in main since last week. Last week there were just buds just starting to flick back. Then we've got Grace Wood from Derrick Cave. A little bit of split end petals in here because of the heat last week, but the blooms are developing much better now. I've got this planted in 3 places. Good strong stems, good colour. And we'll like it. Then we've got some Jean Shaw. Had a few selected stock plants of this from last year. Some plants were just showing extra height and extra vigour to the others. So Mark the tuber, propagated from that, got 6 plants planted out, but as you can see, of the 6 plants they're all growing at about 6 up. Far too many to get a good sized giant on it, but it just shows in one way the potential of it. This one's new Field Maggie, which was a medium deck. I saw at the trials last year. The plants were passed on to me by Gordon. An interesting pink-white blend. We only managed to get 4 plants of that in. Got a few pot tubers of it as well, but just planted 4, see what it's like. From Gabby Hayes, and not a new variety. This is Jubilee Boy. which has been around for a few years, a large semi-cactus that we've added into our list for this year. I do like that. Colour's interesting. It's goes back quite well. You know, that particular bloom maybe a little bit sort of like too front facing, but overall the habit's quite nice. Got some outside underwear basic cover. By basic, it's not as posh as this one. They're probably about 7 days behind. Then we've got some Eastwood Moonlight that I've grown in here. When we're growing with Eastwood Moonlight outside, we really struggle with it. Decided to plant 6 plants of it alongside Eastwood Bard and see if there was much difference. Eastwood Bard flowers around about 5 days earlier is what we've noticed, and is probably about 30 centimetres a foot shorter. But I'm really chuffed with those. They're probably not like show bench standard, but they're the nicest Eastwood Moonlight we have grown on the nursery. The advantage of growing in a polytunnel, I suppose, for up here. This variety from America, Allen's High Voltage, is a superb colour. It's not coming up as rich a purple as I'm actually seeing. Shame about the form to a degree, but a good strong plant. And we have a couple of seedlings from John Sharp, a large pom seedling, a small deck, which we only got 1 plant of this put in. Lovely colour, reflexing petal. Waiting for these 2 to come out, which will be, you know, more above the foliage, so you'll get a better indication of it. And then this lovely little purple miniature cactus. As I say, we'll never get a chance to manipulate these by growing them 8 up, 15 up, or we just stop them and just let them grow. We'll disbud lightly on a miniature cactus, disbud a bit more on a large and a giant. Grown a few Fims in pots just to see what happens. They've got some Normandy Delight there. Unfortunately, the wind's been catching the end a little bit. Some Normandy Frills. And some Normandy Wedding Day, which is flowering a bit earlier than I've got outside. Right, going into our wooden covers, which I have to be honest, they're just very recently covered with some tarpaulins that we still had left from last year, so maybe a little bit raggedy because I did get blown off with the wind a little bit and got a bit torn, but they are holding. We've got from Phil Godsmart, Rycroft Raven just coming on. And then Rycroft Porcelain, which looks like it's going to be a tall grower. I think I saw this on Dave Spencer's video last night. It looked very impressive. It's a beautiful clean white small deck. And then Normandy Wedding Day. I love the blush colour of this soft pink Fim. You probably can't hear me, the wind. And there's in the background there's Grace Wood again from Derek Cave. Living across to just starting to come out now from Gabby Hayes. We got Golden Boy, which is our I reckon that'll be miniature ball. We'll see when it fully comes out. Some Gateshead Festival, which I'm so glad I've got these up here, because the ones down in the field have been hammered from when we got flooded. Where bottom field has been sitting in water 3 times over the last 8 weeks. So there's patches of it where the dahlias have really struggled, as you can imagine. Then we got Normandy frills. Ahead a little bit of last year. Last year struggled to get a few early on. But quite pleased with how they're developing. Behind you've got some more Eastwood How's that? And then Normandy Delight. Which I'm hoping those don't get blown around too much. I wish I had some windbreaks up, but we don't normally get this sort of wind until September. Quite like the air blowing through. Just on the left here we've got Weston Pearl, which is going to be a new one for this year. We tried it last year. Some of you might have seen some people growing it on the show bench already. But this really caught my eye when we first had it. A couple of years ago I think we had plants. That's nice. Good strong plants. They'll probably be about 8 up. Although I haven't counted. But yeah, it should be quite a few Normandy Delight to go for. Then this is Le Feu de Soleil. We're starting to go to sleep a little bit. And then on the left here we have pink gold crest, which is distinctly much more of a peach colour. Very difficult to actually find any matching blooms in it. The colour variation, despite selection, has been a bit of a struggle. And then this one is Hadrian's Delight. Unfortunately something's been nibbling that one. Well, good strong plants, lovely colour. Little bit swirly at the back there, but that's been blown around a bit today. And Scour Queen. Go through here, we've got Nenakazi, another Fim. With Happy Perfect, which produces blooming big blooms. Then another one of my favourites from last year, Weston Sunset, again from Gordon. Lovely, rich, deep, almost burgundy red, brilliant form, good height. Do like it. And this is one of Phil Godsmark's seedlings that we tried last year. Just love the colour of this one. We've got nothing like it in the range. This is Rycroft Gold, which is a small deck. You know, I think that's a must when I've got enough stock, and we've agreed, you know, with Phil on that. And then this is Happet Champagne. We've got quite a bed of fimbriated ones there. Or hopefully we'll get a cut. A few that I missed is I was going through that middle row then, but in the same block we've got Morask with Josephine. These covers only went on here like last week, although they were planted at the same times as the ones in the tunnel. And they're probably about 7 days behind. This is Dave Reed's Barlaston Beauty, a medium deck. It's not like the weather today. Do like the colour though. Jacob's Desire, which was a medium deck from Roger Downton. We grew this last year and thought it deserved another try. And then behind that is Clearview Jonas, which it's not doing as well here as I've seen elsewhere. Seems very soft petaled, is easily marking, which I'm quite surprised because the strength of the plant looks superb. Then we've got some Clearview Cameron, which we just covered on Monday, this block. So a little bit behind the ones in the tunnel. And there's some Eastwood Bard. And I mentioned the Jubilee Boy. Plant at the same time as the ones in the tunnel, but a good week behind. Then this is another one from Gabby Hayes. This was Millie. Last year we found it a little bit late flowering. Interesting. I think it'll be like a large deck. I'm hoping to see how they develop over the next couple of days. Just a quick look at my giant decks and giant cactus. These are probably now a few days behind where they were last year. Getting a bit blown around with the wind, but as there's not much colour on them yet, it won't have too much effect on the bloom. They're looking really good. I'm pleased with them. The development of them over the last week has been quite amazing. Right. Just a quick run through the rest of our trial plot. Not all of them are out yet, they're just really starting to come. This was Adrian's Delight. Not really going to get to see much of that. The wind's just got up again. One variety that's really outstanding, I love the colour of it, is this Blighton Will Scarlet. Yeah, we're getting a bit battered now. And behind that is Field Maggie. And I can't not show you Adrian's Glowing Embers, a seedling of ours. Just starting to come into a full flush of flower is Jasudi Pluto. Probably the last of the Jasudis that we'll be introducing. Probably the truest miniature semi-cactus that we've got. Much smaller flowers than some of the other ones naturally. This has just been stopped the once. Last year I tried double stopping it. And that will give us a good cut for Harrogate. This is another of Roger Downton's, which is Maisie Taylor, a small ball. Struggled with this last year. We only really had one plant that did well, so we propagated from that and then have a totally different kettle of fish. This is much improved. Still got some of the old Pom hallmark, thanks to Stuart Plenty that sent me some. I'm so tempted to relist it, but we always had a problem getting enough stock early on, enough cuttings, and then all of a sudden it was going like the clappers and we're getting plenty. There's some Weston Pearl outside, and then this from Gabby Hayes is Twilight Boy, a purple miniature deck, which initially looks like it's got really hard green centres, but then it comes and just gets better and better. Lovely colour. Right, this is our main plot, the bottom half, which I've done plenty of walks and talks around here over the last couple of years, but never have I seen them looking like this. As I've mentioned, and some of you might have seen, we've had 3 occasions where the field's effectively been temporarily flooded with water running down the slope from my car park, from my greenhouses onto this bottom plot, and it's really knocked back some of the dahlias. A lot shorter, a bit later. In some cases they're struggling to sort of like regrow effectively. Over the last couple of weeks we've taken quite a number of plants out. Stem wise they're going to be very short, which is why I need some of the bigger ones for harrogate, but we will get there. They're a lot better than they were 2 weeks ago. Although we're going to be short of some plants in the field, we have got plenty of pot tuber stockers back, which is a relief. Well, that's one of the reasons we have the pot tubers, in case there's disasters with the field tubers. But you can see how much they're suffering, especially when I get to this part here, and you can still see how wet the ground is. It's a tricky little bit of land, this. It's only happened like once before when it's got so wet, and we've really struggled this year. From a torrential rain in July, then 2 inches in half an hour in, that was 3 weeks ago today. Total of 4 inches in 72 hours, I think it was. And I don't know if I find it quite hard coming down here, to be honest. The whole team put in a lot of effort through the year, trying to get this all, planted out and looking good. And I feel at the minute we're just like lost a little bit of control, totally, haven't been able to take control. Trenches to take the water out, water away, it's really, really bad. Got some poor root development on it, but what do you do with these? We're sitting with an inch of water on the beds a couple of weeks ago. As the sun goes, we will survive. That sounds depressing. It is a bit depressing coming down here at the moment. And as I say, I'm so grateful we've got plenty of pot tubers for. We haven't lost them. We've just lost the overall impression of how good these fields normally look. Yeah, you've got that on bed, and you've got Andrea Clark looking fantastic in the bed next to it. A little bit hungry, but yeah, all that rain took out all those Reddy Classic, and yet Mary Margaret Rose, no problem, just short. Life sometimes throws things at you that you can do without. Another bed that was badly affected with the small balls in. Small cactus there. And then a bit further along you've got Doris Day. Yes, a little bit behind schedule, but these are looking perfectly okay. About a foot shorter than it was last year. All this area is looking reasonably okay. Right, it's last plot. It's starting to get dark now. A few black clouds. I hope it's not going to have another downpour. Interestingly, these plants on this plot were planted a week after those ones that have really suffered with the water damage. There's going to be a lovely crop of blooms off here. A lot of these are actually duplicates of some of the varieties that were planted over there, which again is like good news. Because of the way the weather's been as well, we're behind on a lot of activities we might normally have carried out. This budding we're only just catching up on, which might seem late, but we need stems for harrogate. Basically tidying up the whole of the plot. We're a bit behind on, wet days when grass cutting don't necessarily go well together. The ground was too wet for trying to do any hoeing amongst them. It was just too sticky and too claggy. But at least we're starting to get a show now. And I'm so relieved about that. So all in all, a tricky year, but things are starting to come into their own now, albeit a bit slowly. And on that note, I'm going to have some tea and start working out for next week, because I'll be down at Wisley on Monday. I'll call in as usual at Golden Acre and see what's going on with the trial varieties.